Breaking tonight, a small boat migrant who openly called for the death of all Jews has been released from...
Breaking, the British government just broke a promise. And last night, the entire country erupted in flames. The Britannia Hotel in London, 4-star luxury, room service, fresh towels daily. But it's not hosting British tourists, it's housing illegal immigrants. Over 36,000 of them across Britain, in luxury hotels. While British pensioners had their winter fuel payments slashed by £1.4 billion. Last night wasn't a protest. It was a declaration of war. If you want the truth, the mainstream media is hiding. Hit that subscribe button now. What I'm about to reveal will change how you see Britain forever. At 6:36 p.m. yesterday, 5 migrant hotels across London were surrounded. The Enough is Enough movement, hundreds of British citizens. Their demand, mass deportations. Now, their fury, a 29% surge in violent crime. 38 British streets shut down. A government that promised to close these hotels, but just opened another. By 7 p.m, British police lines collapsed. From hundreds of fireworks launched at riot shields. 5 police vans destroyed. Glass shattered across 3 city blocks. Over police radio, one order repeated. Protect the migrants, priority 1. Not protect British citizens, protect the migrants. Here's where this becomes Britain's biggest financial scandal. £2.1 billion annually on migrant hotels. Not temporary shelters. 4-star hotels with room service, heating, free meals. Government excuse. Detention centres are full, no choice. But when British pensioners asked why their winter fuel payments were cut, the answer was simple. Budget constraints. Picture this. A British Army veteran who served decades, turning off heating in winter to afford food. Freezing. Alone. Meanwhile, undocumented males, many 18 to 35, mostly unvetted, get free 4-star rooms, unlimited meals, 0 bills. British opposition leader Nigel Farage presented data nobody wanted to hear. A 320% increase in machete attacks since 2018. Over 1,000 illegal immigrants landing daily on British shores. His solution? Deploy the Royal Navy to patrol borders, establish enforcement units like America's ICE, deport 600,000 illegals back to Africa and the Middle East. The British crowd outside Parliament, thousands erupted in applause. Prime Minister Starmer's response? Impossible, inhumane, violates human rights. Instead, Starmer scrapped deportations and expanded police budgets. Not to fight crime, to protect migrant hotels from angry British citizens. British critics gave him a nickname, Two-Tier Keir. Here's why. A British teenager caught with cannabis. Criminal record. Court, possibly jail. A foreign national caught with stolen goods in a hotel. A behavioural warning from security. No arrest, no charges. This isn't equal justice. This is two-tier law where your passport determines if rules apply. The crime situation in British communities is catastrophic. British retailers within 1 mile of migrant hotels report coordinated theft teams, not individuals stealing bread. Teams of males systematically clearing shelves of electronics, alcohol, designer goods. They know British security can't touch them. When police are called, officers often refuse to attend unless violence is active. 3 British police forces leaked documents revealing a shocking policy, ignoring low-level crimes by asylum seekers to avoid administrative backlogs. Crime goes beyond theft. British parks are no-go zones after dark. British dog walkers harassed and chased. British women changing jogging routes. British parents banning daughters from walking near hotels. Government term? Cultural friction. British locals call it loss of freedom in their own country. British intelligence sources warn of something darker. Drug gangs using government-funded hotels as recruitment hubs. Converting British taxpayer rooms into command centres for County Line's drug networks. British taxpayers aren't just funding accommodation. You're paying rent for gangs to expand drug operations into British communities. Sexual harassment reports skyrocketing in these neighbourhoods. Arrest rates flat. Why? British victims told pursuing charges is difficult, since suspects have no fixed addresses. A deliberate catch-22 silencing British victims. Worse, hotels aren't protected by British police. Private security firms guard them. Mercenaries keeping British citizens out, not residents in. A private army protecting people destabilising British neighbourhoods. At 8:05 p.m, British streets became war zones. Police radio captured panic. Retreat from sectors 8, 10, 13, not trained for firework attacks. Same moment, another 320 illegals landed on British coasts. British police deployed everything. Shield walls, dog units, water cannons. Nothing stopped the surge. A TikTok video of British protesters destroying a police van hit 7.2 million views in 3 hours. Starmer made a panicked announcement. British people heard, moving migrants from hotels to military bases. The blueprint leaked hours later. Over 10,000 illegals will occupy bases that housed British Army soldiers. The crisis tripled. Here's what British people see. A welfare state taxing citizens but refusing support. A treasury auditing you but bankrolling them. Your benefits slashed. Their accommodation guaranteed. This isn't policy disagreement. This is betrayal of British people. British civil service whistleblowers leaked the directive from Downing Street. Prioritise asylum processing. Approve budget overruns. Ignore community complaints. Internal code phrase? Vulnerable asylum seekers. Government speak for military-age males demanding room service, complaining about food. Roaming British towns where women fear walking after dark. Starmer's government isn't paralysed from lack of money. They fear closing hotels more than British pensioners freezing to death. Britain stands alone in Europe, the only nation where government fears losing a future voting bloc more than losing control of streets. How Britain reached this point? Whitehall sat on classified intelligence. Reports on inheritance taxes destroying British farms. Border force estimates of 1.6 million arrivals. Warnings that demographic shifts would trigger civil unrest. Every file stamped politically sensitive and buried. Starmer didn't overlook risks. He consciously chose to proceed despite consequences for British communities. British critics note, if people setting fires were British farmers protesting death tax or truckers protesting fuel, police response would be instant and overwhelming. But protecting migrant hotels? British police raids find zombie knives and machetes in rooms. Weapons banned under British law. Officers confiscate blades. Owners remain in suites. Verbal warning, fresh dinner voucher, catch and release justice transformed British law into a joke. Meanwhile, British citizens face prosecution for Facebook posts deemed inciting hatred. Over 9,700 arrests. For social media posts. Let that sink in. Post controversial opinions as a British citizen. Arrested. Carry illegal machetes in government hotels. Polite warning. Two-tier justice on British streets. Rage isn't just in streets. It's burning in British living rooms nationwide. British people see the truth. The state taxes you but refuses support. The Treasury audits you but bankrolls them. Your benefits cut overnight. Their luxury guaranteed. This is how British welfare collapses. Not through poverty, through preferential treatment. When government chooses resource allocation by politics, not contributions, social contract disintegrates. My question for you: how long can Britain survive treating British citizens worse than foreign nationals who entered illegally? When British veterans freeze while strangers get room service? When British women change routes for safety while government protects those making them unsafe? Britain is at breaking point, and leaders pretend everything's fine. If this made you angry, if it opened your eyes, share this with every British person you know. Comment your thoughts below. Subscribe now. Mainstream media won't cover this story properly. This isn't left versus right. This is right versus wrong. British people deserve better. Don't miss the next big update. Subscribe.